Hello, everyone. Welcome to Conversations with Sekani, a podcast for people in their 20s who are trying to figure out life and not get lost along the way. Today's guest is the founder and CEO of Next Level University, a top 100 global podcast with over 2,300 episodes and listeners in 100 plus countries. Wow. After losing his father at age 2 and surviving a nearly fatal car accident at 26, he began questioning success, fulfillment, and what it truly means to live at your highest potentials. With over 12,000 hours of coaching, training, and podcasting, he now helps individuals level up in health, wealth, and love. Alan Lazaros, welcome to Conversations with Sekani. It's a pleasure to
Thank you
have
for,
you.
yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. For anyone, I love talking into the lives of youngsters because I feel like I got some good guidance and I got some terrible guidance. So I want to both give back and warn everyone that a lot of what you hear for advice is subpar. And I do a lot of coaching now. I meet people all over the world. The 21st century is a wild time. So I don't take it lightly. Thank you for having me.
All right, wow. Okay, so yeah, I want us to start from the beginning, right? After your car accident at 26, what was the first belief about success that, completely broke for you, actually?
Yeah, so I did the traditional path in the US. So I was born and raised in Massachusetts. The belief that shifted in me was from the traditional path to the new one that was kind of my own unique mountain that gets higher as you climb it. And so the traditional path in the US was kindergarten, preschool, kindergarten, elementary school, middle school, high school, college, corporate. That was the
Mm,
traditional path when I was young.
mm,
I'm 37 now. In the 90s, that was what you did. You go to school, you go to college, you get a job type of thing. And at 26, when I got in that car accident, what shifted for me is I realized that path that I thought was good for me was not
mm,
an inside out approach. So I used to be externally motivated for external achievement. And I
mm,
have, all those awards and stuff behind me if you're on video. And that's
mm.
all great. I think achievement is really important. I think it's really important. And inner fulfillment. And so I used to be from the outside in my approach. Now I'm inside out, which is who am I? What are my core values? What is the change that I wish to see in the world? Be the change that you wish to see in the world. And then how do I build a business around that? So the change that I want to be in the world is after that car accident 11 years ago, I started a company called Alan Lazaros LLC, what you'll never learn in school, but desperately need to know because I was a straight A student in high school and I went to one of the best colleges in the world for engineering. And I didn't understand why I never learned about goal setting or habits or personal development or personal growth or self improvement or courage, humility, and vulnerability or communication or relationships. I didn't take my first finance class until I was in grad school. And so we use money every day. We use our bodies every day. We need to set and align with our goals every day. And yet we weren't taught about productivity or time management. These things are critical. So now I teach those things all over the world virtually at Next
Mm.
Level University.
All right, wow. Okay, so, talking about alignment, right? A lot of, high performers, they chase achievement. So how do you differentiate, achievement from alignment, actually?
Well, I think achievement without alignment is probably failure.
Mm,
And I think alignment and achievement are connected. So for example, I always say you should be subservient to your goals, not subservient to other people, but you have to be subservient to your goals. So a good example of this is we have a next level fitness accountability group. We have a community of people that did a 10 pound in 10 week challenge. We do it every year. My business partner and I, we do a 10 pounds in 10 weeks challenge. And some people are trying to gain weight, some people are trying to lose weight, but everyone's doing 10 pounds in 10 weeks or some modification of that. And my point of this is if the goal is to gain 10 pounds, the habit of eating more is actually a constructive habit. If the goal is to lose 10 pounds, eating more is now a destructive habit.
mm,
So alignment is predicated on the goal, and achievement is predicated on a goal. So the question becomes, are you conscious of your goals or not? Right? Because we all have goals. We wake up in the morning and we want to feel good about ourselves. We want to eat. We want to do, but what if you design a life where, and this is what I kind of teach, most of the things that we want in life are actually byproducts. It's like laughter. If you're going to laugh, I have to say a joke. So laughter is a byproduct. You can't force yourself to laugh. Well, health, wealth, and love are things that everyone wants. And in all my speeches all over the world virtually, I always ask who here wants to be healthier, wealthier, and more in love. And everyone raises their hand. And then I say, who here wants to master fitness every day, master finance every day, and be humble, courageous, and vulnerable in your intimate relationship? And a lot of the hands go down. And the truth is, health, wealth, and love is a byproduct. It's something that comes as a result. It's an effect, not a cause. And so if you focus on the causes, the effects occur. But the problem is we're so focused on the effect that we're not focusing on the process that is the cause of those effects. And so achievement without alignment is failure because it's not aligned with who you really are and what you value.
Right, wow. Okay, so achievements without alignment is failure. Right, wow. Okay. So, you talk about health, wealth, and love. So, which one do most ambitious people neglect first?
So I had dozens of coaches and mentors in my life,
Mm.
particularly in my 20s, and most of them neglect health and love,
Mm.
particularly the males. So men tend to, statistically speaking, be extrinsically driven, particularly for success and wealth. And I understand why, but I realized somewhere along the lines that most of my mentors and coaches, I wouldn't trade places with. And what I realized is like, okay, so you're very wealthy. You have a net worth of, one of them was hundreds of millions. And, but you're divorced and you're wildly unhealthy. And I just remember thinking, no, no. Why do you want to live in a beautiful home, but not a great body? Like you have a great car, but not a
Mm.
great body. And to me, it just makes no sense to take better care of your house than your own body because you live in this body. And so, yeah, health, wealth, and love are really important. All three of them are really important. And I think fulfillment and a meaningful life is actually a byproduct of those three things. So, health is physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. Wealth is how you earn your money. In other words, is the work you do meaningful and fulfilling to you? How much do you earn? Is it increasing or decreasing over time based on the economy? Where do you invest it? I say invest, not spend. And then love, intimate relationship, family, immediate family, extended family, friends, clients, colleagues, mentors, mentees, associations, acquaintances, the whole nine, and it ripples outward. And so those are the three areas everyone has to master if they want to be holistically successful.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, you've done over 2,000 and 2,300 podcast episodes. So what
Mm-hmm.
pattern do you see in people who truly grow versus those who are actually stuck?
The number one pattern is do you want to get better or do you want to look better or feel better? So
Hmm.
some people would rather look better and feel better than actually get better. And a good metaphor for this is if you were to see me in the gym, I don't look very good. And what I mean by that is I'm sweating, I'm struggling, I'm barely getting the weight up. My focus is not looking good because if I wanted to look good, I would lift less weight. I'd do easy stuff that made me look awesome. I'd make sure I have the perfect outfit on with the perfect camera angle. And obviously I do some of that on Instagram, but the priority matters. So the syntax matters. Is it one or two or one? So over here you have the social world, which is your reputation, and you have the real world, which is how you feel about yourself when you're by yourself. And the social world is the wedding photos, the real world is the marriage. The social world is your Instagram, the real world is how you feel in the morning when you first wake up. And the syntax matters. And I think in high school, we screw this up. In high school, you care more about what other people think of you than what you think of you. In high school, you care more about your reputation than your character. In high school, you care more about the social world than your actual real life. And it's so devastatingly backwards. And hopefully you grow out of that eventually. That's what maturity is, I think. Maturity is I care more about my actual marriage than I do the wedding photos. And that's what I've found is people who would rather feel better and look better than actually get better, they don't usually get better. Because a lot of the things that require you getting better requires you to kind of suck and look bad and be embarrassed and fail forward. And like when I'm in the gym, I don't look like a badass. I look like I'm struggling. But then I actually get better and stronger the next day, right? So then eventually you do look better. And so that's why it gets so confusing. But that's the number one pattern I see is if you're more focused on feeling good about yourself than actually getting better, you're in some serious trouble.
Okay. All right. So when you spoke about struggling in the gym, I could actually relate to that because I'm always looking like someone who's struggling in the
Yeah.
gym.
And then you see people that are like making their workout look good. And
Yeah.
you know that they're not getting that much better because struggle and challenge is necessary for growth.
Okay, well, all right. So yeah, thank you so much for that actually. And yeah, I was going to ask you, what's, the biggest misconception about personal development today?
Personal development and personal growth and self-improvement. They're romanticized. Okay. The biggest misconception is people who make it seem like growth is awesome.
Mm.
If you are actually growing, you're struggling. So we have something called the 5 S's of success, the 5 next level S's of success: sacrifice, struggle, suffer, success, which is the one everyone wants, and then sustain.
Mm.
Life doesn't get easier. You handle hard better. And anyone who makes it seem like growth makes your life easier it's not true. It's status and horseshit. And the truth about personal development, personal growth, and self-improvement is that it's painful, it's challenging, it's not fun, it's not popular. Fake self-improvement is popular.
Mm.
The jumping up and down and all that stuff. That's fun and popular, but it's not real.
Mm.
And what's real is like the deep work behind the scenes when no one's watching, that you forge yourself into something stronger. And the metaphor there is an ego death. So you have to tear down the Jenga tower to build it back up. And so in my one-on-one coaching, for example, I tell people this, like, if you're coming here to look better, feel better, do not coach with me. Because the truth is you are not more successful because you don't believe enough in what you already believe. You're not more successful because you think inaccurately about yourself, others, or the world. You have blind spots. Everyone has blind spots. It's like a self-driving car that has a blurry screen and it keeps driving off a cliff thinking it's a road. And so my job as a coach is to identify the gaps in your awareness and then to fill them in. And most people, myself included at times, see themselves better than they really are in order to feel good. But in order to achieve that next level, you actually have to look in the mirror and realize that you are getting kind of fat and that you are letting it go and that you aren't that dialed in and that you are unorganized and that you do need to work on yourself. Like it's such an interesting duality where the more I face how bad I look in the mirror, the better I look in the mirror. It's this weird paradox where you go, okay, I am getting a little fat. Then you change your behavior because of that, and then you end up looking better. So what I try to tell people is you're not more successful because you don't already believe in yourself enough. Most likely you need to believe in yourself more on the macro, yes, but most likely you have blind spots. And it doesn't feel good to identify those. It doesn't feel good to realize you're getting fat. And that's a metaphor, but everything in coaching and success in real life without status and networking and BS and sort of manipulating people. If you have real success in the real world and you do it with integrity, it's always going to require you looking in the mirror metaphorically and realizing that you're getting fat.
Wow. All right. So yeah, I was gonna ask you, would you pick discipline over motivation?
Always.
Always.
Of
Okay.
course. Yep.
All right. So yeah, this has been amazing. I feel like I've learned a whole lot. And mostly what I learned is, I don't know if I could say this, but what I learned from what you said is facing the reality of life, just telling yourself the truth,
Yeah.
basically. Because
100%.
sometimes most people try to lie to themselves to feel better, right? So you have to tell yourself the truth, do the right thing, so you can then feel better about yourself, right?
Yep.
So yeah, okay,
That's how
thank
you
you.
build self-respect.
Okay.
Lying to yourself will destroy your self-esteem and self-respect. It's a short-term win for a long-term loss. Versus looking in the mirror and being candid with yourself, metaphorically and literally, that's going to build self-respect. When you make positive life change in real life, not on your social media, but in real life, you gain self-respect and self-worth and self-esteem through self-discipline. Right? It's self-improvement, self-discipline, self-respect, self-esteem, self-worth, self-confidence. All these things are self. It's you versus you. It's behind the scenes when no one's watching. And if you do it there long enough, consistently enough, well enough, and you improve and you better your best every day, then you will eventually get the opportunity to pour into the lives of others.
Okay, thank you so much for this. This has been, amazing. And yeah, I have this segment, like a concluding part of my podcast is called the rapid fire segment, right?
Love
So
it.
yeah, would you pick clarity over confidence?
Yes.
Okay, systems or passion?
Systems.
Okay, talent or consistency?
Consistency.
All right, yeah. Okay, I felt like I knew what you were gonna say, right? Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you so much for this. It has been amazing. And where can listeners get to know more about you and what you do?
Yes. Thank you for having me again. I appreciate it. Thank you for pouring into the lives of youngsters. It's really important. Nextleveluniverse.com is the website. Next Level University podcast is the podcast. 2,350 episodes now. It's success and personal development content in your pocket from anywhere on the planet every single day, completely free. That is Next Level University. Me and Kevin have been doing this for 9 years now. And it's the coach or the mentor in your pocket that you never had. We both grew up without fathers, and we've sort of unconsciously and now consciously become the male role models we never had. And we're going to lead by example. There's nothing we're going to talk about or tell you to do that we're not also working on. So it's not talking from some mountaintop. It's let's climb together toward meaningful goals. And it's a mountain that gets higher as we climb it, right? So maybe we're at a different level, Next Level University. So next level you, pun intended. No matter how hard your past has been, no matter how hard your present is, you have a spotless future. And there's always a next level. And we're going to help you get there.
Right. Wow. Thank you so much for that. I feel like our goal is kind of aligned, right? Yeah. And I really want to listen to your podcast because just this short one has played a very big role in my life. I don't know, you might not know it, but it really does. And I will go and start listening to your podcast because, yeah, I want to grow basically. So thank you so much for this. And thanks for tuning in to Conversations with Sekani. If this episode sparked something in you, make sure to share to someone who you think might need this and also subscribe so you don't miss out on new episode. Thank you, Alan. Do have a wonderful day.
You as well. Thank you for having me.
All right. Bye.